Farrell! Sergeant Farrell!
Can I help you,
My name is
son?
Major Bill Cage. U.S. Army Media Relations. I was at a bachelor party or a poker game. You have an order in your left pocket that says, I'm a deserter caught impersonating an officer. But what it doesn't say is that your name is Master Sergeant Farrell from Science Hill, Kentucky. And if you'll give me 30 seconds to explain how I know that, you may just save the lives of every soldier on this base. You have to listen to me. They know we're coming. They're waiting for us. I have been there. I've seen it. You're all doomed. You're doomed. Okay. I'm fine. This is J Squad, yes?
This is J Squad, yes.
Not that I should know that, but okay. Have any of you met me before?
Bitch, I don't know you.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Your name is Nance. You're Bibble. Kimmel. You fight balls out, literally. Ford, Skinner, Griff. He doesn't talk much. But there's a card game under the bed.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
Kimmel's working on flush, spades, no, clubs. And you're gonna make me eat those cards. Am I right? Now, what I'm about to tell you sounds crazy. It's true. And you have to listen to me. Your very lives depend on
Oh, what you...
What? What'd you do?
I wasn't paying attention. I didn't hear you.
Oh. All right. So that a nice little.
I was paying attention.
You say the one week you say you want to open the show.
Okay, let's try it again. All right. And wait, you go and acting.
And act.
Why do you watch I Listen? My name's Dan Perosi.
See,
like us on Facebook. I'm Matt.
Well, not even just Facebook.
Dolphins!
Ralph, I did you know that? Oh, sorry, Dan. Did you know that we have a website now?
Well, it's watchlisten.org.
All right. Enough of you fucking sound like a Muppet.
Ah!
Every voice you do is the Muppet voice.
I hate this album. It sounds like the 80s.
Yes, I do hate everything.
It's bullshit when they try and do things different. I hate throwback albums.
How can it be different if it's something that's been done 30 years ago?
Classic rock. It's dead.
Well, classic rock is dead. I mean, wait, can classic rock technically die? Because you're talking about classic rock.
Shut up.
You know what I mean.
We're not doing this.
All right.
Welcome to You Watch, I Listen, episode 15.
This is episode 7.
6.
I'll be the logistics guy.
I just drank a Red Bull. I am hyper.
Yeah, you're like jittery. You look like Michael J. Fox. Don't keep your drink close to your keyboard.
I thought you were going to say Michael Vick.
Michael Vick? Where's the dog?
I was like trying to make the connection real quick. Okay, little behind the scenes thing. Did you know that's why Homer Bound 3 got canceled?
Because of Michael Vick?
Michael Vick
was he the co-star?
He was a co-star.
He was supposed to be the John Candy role.
How much bad publicity would Disney get if they had Michael Vick in Homer Bound 3?
Oh my God. Produced by Harvey Weinstein.
Oh.
All right, so again, welcome to episode 7 of You Watch, I Listen. It's just us two today. We're going to take a week off of the guest, and next week...
We actually burned through all our friends.
Yeah, we had 4 friends. But no,
3, Grow House Man of me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But we actually do have a guest next week, Ralph. I think I can officially announce our guest for next week.
Can you announce him?
We can announce our guest is Michael Manfredonia.
Yes!
One of my oldest friends. I've known him since 7th grade. One of my favorite people in the world. One of the biggest characters you'll ever meet. And he's going to have some... We're going to spend some time just talking stories.
Can we say that Manfro is beloved?
Yeah.
He might be the most beloved person... for various reasons.
Everyone, when they get to know Manfro, there is not a single person alive that dislikes him. I know that his first appearances, because he's Manfro, can be a little deceiving, but once people get to know him, everyone loves him.
He powerbombed a friend.
He powerbombed you. He picked you up off the ground and slammed you on your back one night.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
You guys were goofing around, and all of a sudden, you were above his head. Because when Manfro's a big motherfucker.
My hip, clicked for a week after that.
The original power bombing story was a Halloween party. And our friend Richie, who's one of Manfro's best friends also, and will be a future guest, came as Jabba the Hutt. And this Jabba the Hutt costume was this big, it had a fan running through it. It was almost like a fun house kind of thing.
It was the worst and the most intricate bad costume I've ever seen.
And Richie's sitting there all night. There's a little hole in the front, and he has a straw in his beer, and he's drinking out of it. And he's trying. I'm like, yo, talk like Jabba the Hutt. He goes, blue, 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 which is a fish. It's not Jabba the Hutt. So him and Manfro are like wrestling.
He talks like I do impressions.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So Manfro and him just start wrestling around, and the next thing you know, Manfro picks Richie up on his shoulders and does Brock Lesnar's finishing move, the F5. It happened within a split second.
You know, you're telling the story like this was one occurrence.
No.
This was throughout the night.
Well, yeah, they were wrestling all night, but that was the one that did him in. But then what happened after was he got up from the F5, wind knocked out of him a little bit, and then fucking Micah comes along and speared the shit out of him. 350-pound Micah just bulldozed through him. A guy who was a really good football player, and that's why we say it sent Richie to a place he wasn't ready to go to.
Rest in peace, Richie. You will be missed.
I wish he rest in peace.
Also, we have a big news.
What's the big news?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I hear the jingling.
Mic stands.
We got new mic stands. We're pretty proud of our. The next upgrade is moving from lawn chairs to computer chairs.
The next upgrade are new hosts.
Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do.
Wait.
Yes, you can hear him. And the reason, you didn't say the reason we got new mic stands, Ralph, and that's because episode 7, we are
My hands got amputated.
This episode is going to be called Edge of the Red Album, and it's also known as Ralph's Birthday Extravaganza. I didn't show you the poster yet, or the banner. It is your birthday tomorrow.
It is not my birthday tomorrow. It's my birthday on Monday.
Whatever, we're celebrating today.
You are factually wrong. It's going to be my birthday when everyone hears this.
Your birthday is the 11th, right?
Yeah, today's
okay,
the
so
9th.
it's your birthday extravaganza. I made you a fantastic banner that you'll get to see, and the gift that I gave were these new mic stands, as well as building our website, which will have every episode update, some blog stuff, all the pictures. It's youwatchilisten.com. So we're trying to build this enterprise. Thank you to the Attack Moves Network and the
What do you
landlord.
think the tinsel strength on these are?
I don't give a shit about what the springs
Here,
are
let's
like.
talk about tinsel strength. 20 minutes. Go.
I've never even.
It's on my list of things to talk about.
I don't think I've ever said that word in my life.
Tinsel strength.
When
That's how strong a Christmas tree is.
How many times? It's fucking stupid.
I know, that's why I said it.
So I wanted to get into a serious subject for a second, and that would be the passing of someone you and I both admired, Anthony
Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain.
This is a rough one.
Now, I know some people that didn't like his stance on president, whatever. You can't tell me this guy didn't live life how he wanted to live it. Called his own shots. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I believe, a purple or a brown belt under Renzo Gracie. And just all around. Greg met him once at a random bar when he was there with Russ, and they didn't ask for a picture. They just gave each other like a head nod because the guy was doing his thing. And it's sad because, from a distance, people that like to live vicariously through others.
Do you remember, it was a topic I don't think we actually used, but we were talking about if someone dies, which ones would really hurt.
And you didn't even put Bourdain on your list because you didn't think about it.
I didn't think of it. And it really is one of the few where I'm like, holy crap, he's gone, because he touched everything. He touched politics. I didn't know
culture.
I very rarely agreed with him on politics.
Yeah, I never did either.
But I will say he's one of the few guys that whatever he said, it's not coming from an emotional, trendy background.
He wasn't a grandstander who was just saying things or donating to political causes. Then you find out he's full of shit. He just called it like he saw it. And it's unfortunate that a guy who, from a distance, everyone, like, that's the life. Like, he gets to travel.
I don't even want to
know.
You know, when someone dies and it's usually if it's a suicide, but it could be anything where they die unexpectedly, you want to hear all the facts behind it. Like, I haven't looked. Like, I don't want to know.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. He hung himself.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying, like, I don't want to know about the depression, if he had drug problems. Like, I don't want to know. Like,
and it's. I mean, obviously, and earlier in the week,
also
fashion designer.
When you
hung, whatever.
Hanged yourself when you commit suicide. Hung is when you're like decorating.
Well, I hope you hanged yourself later
with tinsel.
With tinsel strength.
That sounds like a bad superhero ability. I have tinsel strength.
He just shoots tinsel out of the tips of his fingers.
Man.
So he's trying to stop robbers, and he just, instead of spider webs, he just wraps them in tinsel. You're gonna have that stuff in your couch for weeks. But The thing that earlier in the week was Kate Spade. Also, I didn't even know she was David Spade's sister-in-law.
I knew nothing about her.
Well, only reason I knew who she was, I had obviously heard of the brand Kate Spade before, but literally,
I didn't think it was a real person. I thought it was like Aunt Jemima. It's not a
literally
real person.
The night before it happened, the landlord and I were watching Jeopardy, and she was a Jeopardy answer, and I'm like, now she's going to be another one who hung themselves with their own scarf.
Hanged.
Hey, I'm going to keep saying hung now.
I don't care.
But the thing that I don't know, it kind of irks me is, and it shouldn't, but when a celebrity or you hear about a college student that commits suicide, is everyone pumps out that suicide hotline number. And listen, I think that's obviously there for a reason, but overall, it's got to be, we have to be more open to talking to people, and people have to be more open about talking about their issues without feeling like it's a stick. There's always going to be a stigma, no matter what. I
feel, and I understand what you are saying. I also do feel like people get very angry when someone commits suicide.
Yeah,
and they don't know where to put the anger. So then you start getting these pushback posts saying, well, don't give him a suicide hell. I just talked to him. Well, that's irresponsible too.
There has to be, with things like this, with mental health, there needs to be like 4 stopgaps to things. There's got to be therapy, there's got to be medication, there's got to be hospitalization, and the last result would be them killing themselves, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think, if you see someone who's going through something, be a good friend, and that's obvious, and I think more people do that. This is what happens. I think this happens, and people assume we're just ignoring mental illness.
Yes.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's one of those things we don't really... It's a taboo subject still. It's less taboo, but so we don't actually know what mental illness is or what someone having a bad day. Like I came in, I was real tired today.
Yeah. What's the difference between depression and a bad day?
Yeah, and like I go to Dan, I worked late, I was grumpy, but like I'm in a bad day. Like I'm not depressed, but I could see if I did that 3 weeks in a row, he could be like, well, Ross depressed. No, I'm tired.
Generally, the thing, because I grew up around a lot of mental illness, and what I learned in my dealings with it is that people that are mentally ill, they cannot decipher the difference between a bad day and being depressed or an actual depression. And again, there's always going to be a stigma around it. There's stigmas around diseases that we know so much more about. And I think it's a matter of just being open to hearing what people have to say, because there are still a lot of people when they see someone that's depressed, well, just get up and do something. And unfortunately, it is not that easy for them.
And I think everybody, for
look at Bourdain, get up and do something. That guy did everything.
He did everything, and he was he looked tired. He really did. And again, I don't want to know, but I'm sure
there's always something deeper. But I also don't think it's any of our business necessarily.
Yeah, depression also. It's not the same for everyone. I mean,
correct.
I know people who have been depressed, in my life.
Yeah.
And they have the clinical, like they don't want to get out of bed. They have all the signs. Mm-hmm. I've gone through depression myself. Now, not to any extent of fear, but like everyone goes through.
Yeah. Sure.
Where I just kind of always feel a little off for 6 months, where I'm just like,
you almost feel boxed in.
Yeah, like I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this.
You're in a funk.
It's different for everyone. I think everyone's tolerance is different. What pushes someone over the edge is different.
Yeah,
you can't say like, well, he had millions of dollars. Well, that doesn't mean anything.
It's been proven. How many times do we hear about these famous people, even when it's overdose? I'm sorry, like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Heath Ledger, say what you want, they killed themselves. You play with fire, you're going to get burned, and when you do that, you know it. When you become so deep into addiction and things like that, is that the risk of dying is there. So you're playing. It's like playing Russian roulette. That's literally what it is.
You've heard of baseline happiness, where like if you take somebody from like a third world country who's living day to day with trying to get clean water, and you take Bill Gates, their baseline happiness is going to be the same, and the things that bother them and the things that give them joy are different. But at the end of the day, we all have that same. This is what normal is.
Correct.
So I think money, status, ethnicity, they are factors of it. But those aren't the only factors.
The truth is, mental illness doesn't pick and choose based on your circumstance and your luck. I mean, there's people that, from a distance, we think they have everything, and then there's people that don't have anything, and they're some of the happiest people. Shit, if I was Stalker Patty, I'd kill myself. Wouldn't you? But you know what I mean? Like, and she seems like such a happy person. So it's...
And, if people knew how to be happy, we would have no problems.
But there's no trick to it. It's different for everyone. How you receive and give information and the things that happen in your life are completely different. I've always said, when my dad passed away, if I was the age that my sister was when it happened, I probably would have killed myself. I didn't have the mental fortitude at that point in my life, but because I dealt with it for so long, I am able to decipher the difference between a funk, a bad day, and an actual when I need help.
And also, I think it's very hard to visualize even yourself at a different situation. You may, and I'm not saying that you would have handled it fine, but
of course
you're using your logic now, projecting it back to
correct,
something.
and I could be completely wrong.
It's like saying, like, how does it feel to be a bat? We don't know how it feels to be a bat. We know how it feels to be a person in a bat's body. And I know you're laughing, but
no, I know
we
what you mean.
how to put
I know
ourselves in someone else's shoes,
correct,
with our own concept of reality. We don't know how it feels to be in Dan's body as Dan.
And when I say like I would have done that when I was younger, if I was that young when it happened, is I'm just basing it off on what I was like emotionally then and my maturity emotion wise, and where I am now. And back then there were unfortunate things that happened in my childhood, but nothing compared to when my dad passed. So that's when I just think about those two things. And I don't want to turn this into a whole depressing thing, but my whole point is, the suicide hotline is great if people need it, but there's other stuff out there.
Reach out to your friends if you're scared.
If your friends turn you away and just tell you to get over it, then you don't have the right friends. And just always know there are people out there that are going to listen, and sometimes it's people you don't expect.
And you know what? But going off of that, if someone does say that, sometimes they might just not understand. They might not be coming from a place of anger or brushing you off. They may not understand. You may actually need to say, "Look, I understand you're saying just
listen to me.
Listen to me." And I'm not trying to put blame on the victim, but this is a very complicated, complex.
There's no right answer. Just like there's no right answer to happiness, there's no right answer to helping either. You know what'll
always make you happy?
Not that watermelon roll you gave us last week.
I was going to plug our show, but then I realized that we're already on the show, so why am I plugging the show?
I do agree that You Watch, I Listen will make you happy. So let's jump into something happier. I think we should just go over our stuff from last week. Yeah, let's
go into our...
So you went first last week, so I will go. I think...
you went first.
I went first. Okay, so
I go first.
You go first this week. So I gave you Edge of Tomorrow, starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, action, sci-fi, futuristic movie. So go on.
So this movie, Edge of Tomorrow, I came in it with... So remember last week where I said like I didn't go in with good expectations on Molly
Correct,
Gaiman?
And that can always impact your view on it.
Well, this one I came in, I was like, try not to hate it. It's Tom Cruise. I fucking love this movie.
I told you, dude.
But I'm telling you right now, I was looking for reasons to hate it because I can't stand Tom Cruise. I'm going to say this, The Wrestler was a better movie. Of all the movies you've given, by far the one I've enjoyed the most.
So I went and saw that in the theater when it came out, and I've told you 100 times I love Tom Cruise action movies, but even then my expectations were iffy because I couldn't get a good read off it on the trailer. And then within 10 minutes of the movie, I was like, "This is fucking dude." It was funny. It was really funny.
Everything you see about it does not represent what the movie is,
dude. It was sci-fi Groundhog Day.
It was, but it was. Here's the thing:
the concept of it.
Well, it's a time loop. Time loop's like kind of a reoccurring thing, but. That's what I thought. I'm like, it's going to be Groundhog Day, but it really wasn't. It actually was more... It wasn't as deep philosophically as I thought, but I think that actually worked for the movie.
Yeah.
They explained why he's in the time loop. For once, it actually, like, it made sense. It was a very simple
There was no loose ends in the movie.
I liked how it ended.
The ending was great.
The only thing I didn't like, and it's not even I didn't like, it's something I would have liked to see, is I thought Emily Blunt by far stole the movie.
Oh yeah, well, as far as I know with the sequel, she's gonna have a bigger role with the second one.
I am with sequels.
It's gonna be hard to. I think that was such an original concept and executed so well that the only thing it could try doing now is one-upping the stuff from the previous, and that's usually when sequels go wrong.
You could relate to it too. It felt like a video game. I felt like
it really did.
Metal Gear Solid goes. Every day you get a little bit close. Every time you die, you get a little bit closer.
Dark Souls kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was all in with this movie. The only time it really dragged a little is when they were kind of out of the loop.
Yeah.
Because the novelty wore off. But again, it's minor. At the end,
I was laughing at so many points. Bill Paxton as the drill sergeant.
Paxton was great.
Oh, rest in peace, Bill.
The seeds of him training, he goes like, he breaks his leg. He's like, no, I'm fine. And she shoots him.
Dude, listen, I know you hate Tom Cruise, but when it comes to action movies, the guy... 9 times out of 10, he does it right, man. He's got a good eye for it.
Driving over, because I watch it alone. My fiance stayed at a friend's house last night. I watched it last night. The fiance. And she's like, I hate Tom Cruise. I'm like, I do too. You have to watch this movie. I think you'd like it. And she's like, fine. I'm like, just trust me.
And you like Emily Blunt, so...
I love Emily
She's
Blunt.
great. But so the fiance watched it as well?
She hasn't yet.
Oh, okay.
This conversation Larry had like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I was shocked how much I enjoyed this movie.
I've told so many people, and Josh had said the same thing to you, that didn't expect much of it, or they thought it would suck, or they had the Tom Cruise impression. I haven't met anyone that saw it and didn't say that was a fucking fun movie.
I thought the aliens were cool.
They were cool looking. The weapons were dope.
The weapons were cool. It reminded me of StarCraft. It had a very StarCraft feel.
StarCraft, actually a little bit of Gears of War kind of stuff too. No, not StarCraft. The movie. That was World of Warcraft. That was World of Warcraft.
Oh, that's right. They did make that.
So, what would you grade this movie?
I'm gonna give it a video game because it reminded me of a video game, and I already blew the cover. It's StarCraft, one of my favorite all-time video games.
I played a lot of that when it first came. I remember on the original PC playing StarCraft.
By the way, if you are a little bit younger and you've never played StarCraft, download it. It's free. It's the best.
How old do you think? What's a little bit younger? Like at what age?
I don't know. We have to have like 8-year-old listeners.
Oh my God!
Do it.
I don't know if
there you go.
I don't know if it's legal to have 8-year-old listeners. So
the show is rated.
So I watched Edge of Tomorrow this past week also, since you were, and it was I think the 4th time I'd seen it since I first saw it in the theater. And again, I loved it. It hasn't worn out for me or anything. It's criminally under the radar, I think. As far as that's when I say it's the best action sci-fi movie in the last decade. It's got to be up there.
It's got to be up there. One thing I don't like that they changed the name on the re-release, Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, just to get more money.
Call Edge of Tomorrow makes sense.
Yeah,
it's what it is. He never gets to tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time he dies, I get pissed at him because he wakes up with the stupid handcuffs.
Yep. So, all right. So I'm really glad you like that. I would have been very disappointed. Like Molly's Game, I'm not necessarily surprised at, but I'm very happy.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump into the album you gave me, and you gave me Baroness Red Album. Now, my only familiarity with Baroness, I'd heard some songs that you and Greg had played throughout the years. So I was familiar with the sound and the tone of them. They're your favorite band, so I'm happy to say that I love this album.
I'm so happy.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I didn't give any song lower than a 3 on it. Specific songs I like. The opening song on the album, Raise
on Pinion.
It literally, it's a 7-minute song, and it just kicks you right in the dick when it starts out. And their progressions, their breakdowns, musically, I can't say enough about how good this band is. I know a lot of people that don't like metal and they don't like screaming, but it's not the kind of scream. And I love Slipknot. It's not thrash. It's not like
it's almost more like hard rock.
You can decipher it if you've ever listened to old Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, but musically, they are so above and beyond what I was expecting. I knew they were good musically, because to be a good metal band, you have to have insane chemistry. And start to finish, the birthing was great. The third song, I think, is the one I gave a low. No, there was a couple I gave 3s to, but there was not a single song I had any feelings to skip over on. Even the instrumental stuff I dug. The 5th song is, I didn't even grade the 5th song. I can't even say it's like a Cockroach and Floor. It's just an acoustic guitar interlude, and it's fucking cool, man.
And actually, that's something they do a lot.
Reminds me of Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You a little bit. Now, honestly,
actually, it does.
Yeah, it's exactly what reminded me of Zeppelin.
That's something that they do. They don't really do that so much more because, like I said, they kind of got a little more commercial sounding, where they will these like intro songs, but they'll be fully fleshed out songs. So they'll have these songs that are instrumentals, but you can listen as an standalone song. And I don't see a lot of bands do that. You usually have like a 20-second intro, or it's like a little, solo that goes in the song. They do it a little bit differently.
Correct. And my favorite song on it was Wailing Wintry Wind. I thought start to finish, again, there wasn't anything I disliked on it. Like, I couldn't find a fault that I
knew you were going to like this one.
It was exactly what I was hoping to find in this mess, because I'm going back and I'm listening to other stuff of theirs now. But they have to be, their influence has to be heavy from Zeppelin. The breakdowns and the progressions some stuff reminded me of Tool a little bit. There was definitely heavy Metallica influence, obviously. So I don't know who else their inspirations were.
I think there
was definitely a Rush inspiration there.
There's
too,
a lot
of
Kais in there, because Kais is kind of from that scene. Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, for sure.
Which is associated with that scene too. Different type of music.
Oh, you know who else? Mars Volta. They had a little bit of that kind of sound.
I hate the Mars Volta.
Very talented band though, musically.
I know.
Terrible live, but very talented musically. So overall, man, this was a great out. Like I said, the other acoustic, the instrumental Teeth of a Log Wheel is fucking cool, man. Like it's rare that I want to hear. Like, I don't want to listen to fucking Steve Vai, where you just make weird sounds with your guitar.
They're a fun band.
No, the musically there was no gap in the talent. They were all so good. The drummer was great. The vocals are great. The artwork on the front of the cover, which you posted on the Facebook, Twitter, website, fantastic. So a 4 out of 5. This is my highest rated album so far. I absolutely loved it.
I'm glad.
I listened to it the first time, and And after the first song, I'm like, I'm in. This is it. So now I'm going to be listening to Baroness quite a bit.
When I discovered Baroness, because even though they're my favorite band, I discovered them maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. They're not a band I grew up with. And it was like literally my eyes open and I go, I need to hear everything this band has ever done. Like I am all in with them.
I feel like everyone has a band or two that they found by accident. And they become. I know for me, one of the bands I found on accident was, I think we were in 10th grade, and I just randomly found Silverstein, who I'd never heard before. I wasn't big on the screamo, emo kind of scene, and I heard the song Bleeds No More, and I was like, this is it. I'm fucking in. Heavy, angry, little bit fruity, but I was exactly what I needed at that time. That's how I found them. I discovered by accident when my brother had the Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat Slipknot album.
Yeah.
I found that by accident, and that's how I found Slipknot. And then by that time, it was right when the first album with Corey Taylor was coming out.
That actually, that I want to think of something. A little aside, and we can kind of go back real quick. And I know it's actually sort of related to something else we're going to talk a little bit later, but do you have any band that it's totally against everything else you listen to? By every measure, you should hate this band, and you really like them?
Yes, the Early November.
I've never heard the Early November. I know I've heard of them, but I've never heard them.
Old Early November. There was an album where, so Early November is just a straight up like pop punk emo kind of band, and he kind of has the high pitched whiny voice, which I'm never into. Thank you for beefing. I'm not into that kind of high pitched whiny voice, and when the lyrics are laid on a little thick. But there was something about them.
Is it like it's like a Taylor band? I don't say that.
No, because Taylor actually doesn't like Early November.
Really?
I have a lot of friends that do. I got to meet the lead singer at one point when I wasn't as into him anymore. But there was their lyrics can be pretty laid on thick and pretty corny. But there's a lot of Early November I like. But it goes like if I heard that band any other time, I wouldn't be a fan. Honestly, if you're going to compare them to anyone, they're probably closer to like Dashboard Confessional, and I don't like Dashboard much. There's a few songs that are good.
They're all right.
Lyrically, they're great. I just hate that lead singer who he thinks he's like this big tatted up badass, and then he has that fucking whiny, your hair's everywhere. Shut the fuck up.
If a guy is tatted up,
I care too much about images when you're all tatted up.
If someone's really tatted up, you either love them or you hate them. There's no in between. I always have a strong opinion on somebody with like sleeves.
I think I generally agree. I have no issue with if you do anything from the neck below. I don't care. If you start going to the neck face area, like that douchebag rapper that I have no interest in ever hearing, Post Malone, he got tattoos under. It's like phrase under his eyes,
and then
he's
got like a stitch across his head.
Oh my god, that guy goes on a treadmill. He just sees John Candy waving to him. Fat fuck. So what's a band that you like?
You're gonna give me a lot of shit for this.
All right,
one.
let me hear it.
I love Hawthorne Heights. I am all in with Hawthorne Heights. And there's not another band in that genre. There's nothing.
Well, they're not around anymore. So
Hawthorne Heights.
Well, the guitarist,
I know the guitarist died.
Yeah, he died. So I don't think they do music anymore. And if they do, I'm glad.
I wouldn't see them live or anything. But there's a couple albums of them where I'm like, I'm listening to it and I have it real low so no one hears.
How can I give you shit if you heard the Early November, and there is some really
I'll
good.
Listen to the Early November.
Don't listen to any. They released a double album, which was their first like major record label one, and that's when I was done with them. That was when it got too emo. There was a song called Hair. It's like, hello, how are you? Love your shoes, love your hair.
Oh, I hate when bands
I was
do that
like, all right,
shit.
I'm done. But before that, they were a pretty damn good band. So again, the other thing with Baroness, and this is where I really probably where I got lost listening to music, is when I started doing sports media and sports radio and journalism, was when I started going from listening to music in the car to listening to nothing but sports radio in the car only. I've always listened to WFAN, but it went from a time where it would be music, WFAN on my phone or whatever at home, and then it just became WFAN all the time. And now that I'm driving around, I can listen to, because there's certain things, and I'm going to get into this in just a second. There's certain types of music that you have to listen to with both headphones on, and I can't really do that at work. And in the car, you can get that. And specifically, what I'm talking about is something that we're going to go over in the next couple weeks. Is we're reviewing and ranking the Beatles discography. I know it's a played subject, it's a little hack, but it's not a lot of people our age have this conversation necessarily about the Beatles. And for me, they're one of the most important bands in my life because that's where I learned how to play music. Was listening to the Beatles.
To me are, and this is a weird comparison, but just hear me out.
Sure.
So Jackie Robinson, I think you can never stop talking about Jackie Robinson.
Correct.
I think the accolades he gets, I think the story of him. He's underrated. I think the studies on him could go on forever. I think the Beatles are
that Ken Burns documentary about Robinson would really give a good. If anyone isn't as familiar with, because there's people that they hate the Jackie Robinson day for some reason. Watch Ken Burns' documentary on Jackie Robinson, and then take a step back, and you'll be like, oh shit.
Jackie Robinson is one of the 5 best people to ever live.
And he was also one of the first African Americans that dissented from the Democratic Party back in the day. He bailed on them because he thought that Kennedy was full of shit.
And Jackie Robinson, he wasn't overly political to the
point
not at
all.
He wasn't like Muhammad Ali. He genuinely what he believed in, and
he didn't have a party allegiance. He went with who he thought was best for his issues.
And I think when you hear about it, he doesn't do what's good for African Americans. He does what's good for all races. And
correct.
I think he's one of my all-time favorite, just baseball figures. I think if you're a baseball fan and you don't have a hefty respect for him on some level, you're not a baseball fan.
So the Beatles, yes, I would say they're like that, in that Jackie Robinson sense that when they came in, it changed the landscape of music.
You can never say enough about the Beatles.
And I know some people are like, oh, well, their early stuff is like, it's boy band stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure, but at the time that was like death metal. Everyone was so angry about.
Imagine if Baroness got released back.
There's a great movie, a parody movie with John C. Reilly, Walk Hard. It's supposed to be like a parody on Walk the Line, and the first time he plays that with his band, it's a song about holding hands, and everyone in the crowd is like, that's the devil's music. You know who has hands? The devil. And you know what he uses them for? Holding. But that's what it was, and that was literally counterculture. That was punk rock at the time.
You also need to know the time of the country that Kennedy just got assassinated.
Yeah, exactly.
America's innocence was gone.
It was it was an early culture war in a lot of ways.
They come out. America needed something to rally about.
Something that the young people could look at, get behind completely.
When you hear, because I talked to my parents about it.
Yeah.
They're a little older or younger than that target thing.
They want to hear Frankie Valli.
He says that there's a distinct difference the day before Kennedy was killed. You're an Elvis fan. The day after, when you get into music, you're a Beatles fan. There's a clear distinction.
Yes. And so the thing with the Beatles, and I just listened to all their albums again because we're going to talk about this in the next couple of weeks, is I was at my desk and I have one headphone in, and when you get to Rubber Soul, that's when they really started playing with their mixes.
That's when they got
and
weird.
You would have one headphone where it's just the singing, and the other headphone is all the instruments, or maybe there's a little bit of instrument.
That's when they
it gets very difficult to do with one headphone.
That's when they got the Brian Wilson influence from Pet Sounds and all that, where they actually learned. They didn't just write songs; they learned how to produce. They learned about color, music tone, things like that.
It's when they start. Let's just say when they started doing acid, and they got a little more creative.
I think they started doing acid a lot earlier than we believe.
They got heavy influenced by their drug use, I would say, and they got more creative and laid the lyrics on less thick. So that'll be in the next couple of weeks. We're going to rank the 13 Beatles studio albums.
Real quick, because I know you listened to them already. I'm pretty familiar with them, but I need a quick refresher.
Yeah.
Did you do all the British ones, or did you do the British?
I did the 13 main studio albums in succession.
Yeah, but the problem is that the early ones, they would release a British version, an American version. The American version would sometimes have a different name.
I'll read to you. This is, and it's in Apple Music.
Let me just look at it.
No, I have my rankings on here.
Don't tell me what it's ranked to.
I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you this is how they are in chronological order. Please Please Me, With the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver,
those are all the British ones.
Sgt. Pepper's, Magical Mystery Tour, White Album, Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road, Let It Be.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that in the next couple weeks. But now that we got all that out of the way, Ralph, do you have any stories or anything you want to go over? Because I have a few different things.
Okay, nope. See you next week, guys.
All right, bye.
Actually, something I've been talking about, you've heard me rant about it. The fiance's heard me rant about it. Recently, this week, we had the primary election in New Jersey. And
who's going to run in November for Senate, Congress, House of Representatives? Blah,
Thank
blah,
you for explaining how a primary works.
I honestly, I know a lot of people that don't, so go on.
And I noticed, and this is like any other election, presidential, gubernatorial, whatever it is, everyone takes to social media and everyone starts lecturing you about voting.
How important it is
Everyone's
to vote.
Posting the I voted sticker. People are giving you assistance on how to register. A few years ago, P. Diddy had the vote or die.
I wish he did the latter.
Even in the 90s, there was all these voting movements.
Rock the vote.
And they're not even politically motivated. I mean,
it's trying to just realize people that you have a great right in this country to vote, a privilege.
This is something, and I don't want to say it annoys me. It's just something I find interesting. That why is voting held in such high regard? I get it's an American tradition, but it's a tradition in any country. You have to vote your leadership unless you're in, some sort of dictatorship.
Exactly.
So why is voting, and you hear, well, it's your civic duty, some countries, blah, blah, blah. But why is voting held above all else? I'm a big believer. I love voting. I take pride in voting, whatever. But why is voting something you have to do? You always hear, if you don't vote, you can't complain. This is your one opportunity.
That George Carlin bit would tell you otherwise, where if I do vote, I don't have the right to complain because I got stuck with the asshole either way. If I don't vote, then I can complain all I want because you assholes made the decision for me.
But
classic Carlin bit. People should.
No, I know that.
Yeah, no, other people. I mean, it's a classic Carlin bit.
It's just why is voting considered? I think if you're uneducated on the candidates, you're actually doing a disservice by voting because you're voting based on hearsay, what you think you know.
That's why they should have an IQ test to vote. Honestly, no, it's so. As far as you said, it's a civic duty. There's plenty other civic duty.
Yeah,
I have to do jury duty next week. That's my civic
jury duty. Why don't people, rally around? You have to do jury duty. Why don't
you get to be part of a jury of your citizens' peers?
That actually, I think, is much more. You're influencing some more than an election because. I get it. Every vote matters, blah, blah, blah. That's been shoved down our throats. Does it really? No. You're a statistic when you vote. If you're on a jury, you're 1 of 12. You actually have someone's, freedom, their life,
their well-being,
their
you
have
finances.
That in your hand.
Yeah.
Why, I think jury duty is equally, if not a bigger civic duty. Going to a town meeting and attending, the Board of Ed, things like that. These are all civic duties that just kind of get, you're supposed to do whatever.
Community service, cleaning up your community.
But voting is the only one where we
that you get judged if you decide not to vote.
I think I figured it out.
What's that?
It is something where you feel like you're doing something without actually having to do something. You need to show up to vote.
That's a good point. So people feel like, hey, I did my part.
You did your part. And I'm not. By the way, I vote. I'm not one of these people that say don't vote.
I voted this week. Now here's the thing. I think that
I need to plug in my laptop.
Go ahead. I think the thing with voting specifically that a lot gets lost is. You have the right to vote in this country, and if you go to Russia and Iran and Saudi Arabia, Cuba, Venezuela, you're China, you are forced to vote.
You forgot
Korea. Whatever, you're forced to vote, and you don't have a choice on who you could vote for. So that is such one of the most ultimate freedoms there are, that you do get to play somewhat of a hand. Whether you want to dispute how much of a hand your vote plays, but you do get to play somewhat of a hand. With that said, I do believe it is also your right to not vote. I don't think anyone should be guilted into voting, which in the last year's presidential election, I got a lot of shit because I said I wasn't going to vote because I didn't like either candidate. Ultimately, I did vote. But I think it's just as much your right that you are not forced at gunpoint like you are in those countries I mentioned to vote. And I think that if more people had the mindset when you get two shit candidates because you're only given two choices, that if more people realize that I don't like the lesser of two evils logic. And that's what every election has come down to.
And then you get people, well, vote third party then. But maybe...
And that's ultimately what I did. But
that's not an educated vote. You're voting something to... take a vote away. And granted, I understand you are contributing to something.
Correct.
And in a perfect world, do the stars align? And if the two candidates we're given are all full of third party, okay, that's all. But I think you're doing it out of guilt, I feel like
which is kind of where I was in the last presidential election.
Then actually, this is what I believe in. And again, if you feel strongly about voting, go and vote.
I would never shame someone for voting, just like I don't think someone should be shamed because they decide not to vote.
Exactly.
I would rather people not vote than cast an ignorant vote. And
we actually give more credence to voting than running for the offices because we hate politicians. But
that's who we have to vote for.
But those are who we have to vote for. So we're actually more celebrated.
Our fucking senator, who's a proven crook, Menendez, and he wins by a landslide because he had more money backing him, and that's who I have to choose from. Are you kidding? Listen, I think that you should. I think that you should take great pride in the fact that we are given the choice that we can pick who we want to vote for, and no one should ever be shamed for voting. And again, no one should be shamed for not voting.
Take pride in all our civic duties. Take pride in, like you said, community service. Serving
Don't
on
hold
a jury.
one to a higher standard than the other, though.
Yeah.
It's like we look when I get jury duty, and I've gotten out of it every year until this year, since I was 18 years old, because the first year I sent the thing back in saying I was a racist, so I wouldn't have to go, and they didn't send me a single jury duty thing for 10 years. But I do have to go this week. They wouldn't let me out of it, despite the fact I'm the only one that can do my job.
You need to post all these things on Facebook saying, like, taking pride in jury duty.
Oh,
if you don't do...
Oh, that's a good idea. I jurred.
I jurred.
Get a sticker.
I hope you're on a grand jury and you have to be there for 12
dude,
weeks.
It's a pettit jury.
Okay, that's
pettit jury, so it's 1 or 2 days.
Andy Pettit jury.
I hope, my hope is that I call in the day before and then I don't, because it's also literally the 2 days are my dad's birthday. So it's like wonderful. I'll be stuck in fucking shithole Patterson. Maybe I'll get some heroin while I'm there.
wait, you're on the jury for a murder trial, and it's for a father, and
I'm just start crying, Daddy. This is getting dark.
Let him go. He has kids.
Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm Bourdain. So all right. So
well,
I like that voting subject, and again on this, and I stated this on the website. We don't want to get political. So I don't think that's a political thing. I think it's just a general stance
it's a society thing.
It's a societal view, and I guess observation. So I had a couple things here, and I sent this to you last week about Jim Gaffigan, the horse racing thing.
Well, yeah, dude, that's an Onion article.
I know, but people are actually offended by it. Like, it's
why wouldn't they be?
I know. Are we getting to the point where we're getting offended by jokes about horsies? Like, are we gonna start? We can't make fun of bronies anymore.
I think humor's just gonna get outlawed.
Dude, that's kind of where it's headed, though. Like, I mean, you kind of see it with the Samantha Bee and the Roseanne and whatever you think about that. But they're absolutely over Daniel Tosh. It happened to Bill Maher. It happened
It's
to
happened to every comedian.
Of course.
And to be honest,
Going
that's nothing new. Every comedian's but it's never been to this.
It's never been to where people got offended by horse racing jokes.
The nation's never been this serious before.
Yeah, and people want to say, "Oh, we're maturing." No, we're just getting fucking lazy. We can't find anything.
We don't even vote anymore.
Okay, I'm done with that subject. Now the other one, you'll like this, and I think I'm gonna need you to put some music over this one. So the MLB draft was this week.
Oh yeah,
and
watch TV.
Did you hear about who one of the players the Mets drafted in the later rounds? Did you hear? You didn't hear the story?
Oh wait.
So they drafted.
Wait. Let me guess.
Come on.
They drafted Justify the horse.
No. Yep, you got it. That's it.
Okay, show's over.
So they drafted Tommy Wilson. Okay, he's a pitcher, right-handed pitcher. He is the son of Thomas Wilson, who played Biff Tannen in Back to the Future. They drafted Biff Tannen's son. So, as a huge Back to the Future fan, I need like Power of Love playing over this, or just some general Back to the Future lines.
I feel really bad for Biff because his son's career is over.
Just picture like when they're trying to take the Mets in 10 years, if they're in the playoffs, and whoever the manager is at the time comes to take him out of the game, and Biff comes running out. Hey, you, get your damn hands off her.
We have to go back. Keep Dwight and Terrell away from.
We have to go. It's your pitchers.
You only win one.
It's your pitchers, Sandy. They're addicted to crack. Great Scott.
Pull Johan.
Oh God! So I was very excited about that. Oh, here's a good music subject for you. You know the band As I Lay Dying?
Yeah.
Have you heard any of the controversy around As I Lay Dying?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Did we? Well, you know that they officially announced that they have a new album coming out.
Yeah.
New music. And it's very divisive in the metal scene about if it's okay to listen to it. Hey, look, that's your own morals. If you decide that you want to listen, I wouldn't judge anyone if that's what they want to listen to. I think you could judge the band members for taking a guy back who they said they would never record again because he took a hit out on his wife.
So here's the thing. When it comes to metal, a lot of metal bands, especially in Europe, are like Nazis and things. Metal is not really known for having...
And the one band that everyone thought was Nazis, Rammstein, really wasn't.
Yeah, like metal really isn't where you go for your moral values.
No, of course not. I mean, I think in the American metal scene specifically, I don't know if there's been a case where a guy was in prison for 2 years for taking a hit out on his wife, and then the band that kicked him out said they'd never take him back, took him back.
First of all, it was an attempted hit, so like...
Attempted, of course. He did,
yeah.
But no, he took a hit out. The hit didn't happen, but he did take a hit out.
Okay, that's true.
So So
that's fine.
I listen. If you like the
Isn't
music,
isn't he all fat now because he couldn't get his steroids?
I don't know. I've never really listened to them all that much, honestly.
Okay. They're actually,
and what I've heard, I didn't
are.
mind. But I don't know if I was a fan how I'd feel about listening to the new stuff.
But wait, so wait, real quick. So he was a bodybuilder. He was like ripped. Like he looked like,
like Jerry Only from the Misfits. Huge.
Just jacked. And is Jerry Only all fat?
Now he's like 60 something, but he used to be ripped to the fucking. He was huge.
Oh yeah. You know what? I've listened to Misfits a lot. I've never seen Jerry.
Stay on fat. The lead singer.
Okay, so I'm not Jerry Only. As I lay dying. So he was like a bodybuilder. Like loved Arnold. That's why they released all those Austrian death metal albums and all that.
Yeah.
And he was in roid rage. I think that was one of his counter defenses why he fought with his wife and wanted to murder her.
Like Chris Benoit.
But when he was in jail, he couldn't get his steroids, and he started like getting breasts.
Yeah,
and like growing like he started becoming like a woman because his testosterone was all messed up.
Yeah, well, that's why so many guys when they come off cycles are taking estrogen and everything because it helps level everything out. So I mean, listen, again, I was never a fan, but I mean, if I was like, if Corey Taylor did the same thing and then he came back to Slipknot, I'd probably still listen to the music. I just wouldn't I wouldn't look up to him in any way. So
that happened to my fiance. Her favorite band is Brand New. They had the controversy where he was talking to like a 14-year-old kid when he was 25.
Taking nudes from a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics.
Some creepy shit.
And I'm like, look, that all happened before you discovered
can still enjoy
them.
the music.
You enjoy it. I'm like,
you don't have to root for their new stuff, but you can still like the old stuff and not feel a certain way about it. Shit, I mean,
I let a lot of things slide.
I'm still a Mel Gibson fan, so
yeah, a lot of people are.
Before the jacuzzi. All right, so this is another one. I played this game on Facebook, and I think you.
I have a lot of.
So I played this, and I have some names here, so you're going to get shouted out. So thank you for participating. So this is movies you hate that everyone else seems to love, and I have a few of these I agree with. Some of them I really don't. So right off the bat, do you have any from people, or you have your own?
No, you read the list. I have my own. So I'm just organizing them because I just realized I wrote a list of movies and I forget which ones are which because I'm stupid.
Stupid ass. So first I have Ted, the talking teddy bear movie with Mark Wahlberg from Kate Kelly. First time I saw it was all right. I'm not big on Seth MacFarlane anymore. I'm kind of checked out on Family Guy for a while. Transformers 2 from Brandon Nichols. The first Transformers when I saw it, it was okay. I didn't hate it. It was entertaining. The second one,
people really love the Transformers.
They're making spin-off movies now. They make a ton of money.
Yeah, 12-year-old boys like
no,
them.
Dude. Every movie makes like opening weekend like $180 million. It's massive. You go to Universal, half the shit there is Transformers.
I don't really think people think those are good or.
No, I know Micah loves the Transformer movies.
Okay, you know what? You sold me.
Yeah, you're gonna see them all. The new one's Bumblebee, the spin-off about the yellow car.
What the fuck is Bumblebee?
If you saw the movies, he's like.
I've seen the movies.
He's the yellow car that plays music. He's like listening to Dickie Goodman of Transformers. So, next one, and this one pissed me off. This is from Drea. Superbad, Pineapple Express, and Bridesmaids. I like all three of those movies. All three of those movies made me laugh hard.
I like them. I don't love them as much as I wanted, but they're okay.
But, I mean, hate them? Drea just has a terrible sense of humor. This one I agree with Pat Larson. Avatar, one of the most overrated movies and still the highest grossing movie of all time. But an incredibly overrated film. Visually stunning. It was a big deal when it came out. But the movie itself, it's fucking Dances with Wolves meets Pocahontas meets Fern
Did you just say Dances with Moles?
Yeah, Dances with Moles. We should make that animated movie. Dances with Moles.
We have a bunch
They go to a square dance.
But they're blind, so they keep bumping into one another. It would be 90 minutes of nothing.
All right, so Avatar, Pat, I'm with you 100%. I can't believe they're making 3 sequels to it in the next 5 years to Avatar.
They're making 3?
Yeah.
I knew they were making a sequel.
After James Cameron bashed on how many Avengers movies there are, he has 3 Avengers movies lined up. Or Avatar movies.
A crossover?
No, oh God. So Jill Sanders gave me Lost in Translation. I agree 100%. A terribly overrated film.
What was the movie?
Lost in Translation with Bill Murray. Where he's in Tokyo. Overrated.
It's all right.
It's overrated, man. Like, that was the kickstart to the midlife crisis movies with these older actors. Like, after that, Jack Nicholson had About Schmidt, where Kathy Bates gets naked in the movie.
Dude,
you fucking.
It also,
like
but
shit.
it did bring Bill Murray kind of back. So I do have a certain respect for that. I like the movie. I don't love it.
But Jill also gave 3 Billboards. The recent from this past year, 3 Billboards outside of Elbing, Missouri.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good, so I don't agree with that. Jerry Emmer, Fast and Furious movies, agree 100%. Hogwash, garbage. All style, no substance.
They stink.
They're fucking terrible. Vin Diesel stinks. The only thing good about him is The Rock, the newer ones. And Paul Walker was a piece of shit. Ash Mayola, she gave me Spaceballs. I disagree. I love Spaceballs.
I'm actually with her. I think Spaceballs is one of the. It may be the worst Mel Brooks movie.
I could agree with that, but I still like it.
They messed up a parody of Star Wars.
She gave me Austin Powers. I love the original Austin Powers. It's fucking and also Pineapple Express.
I don't. A lot of these movies I like, but I don't love to the point where I could be shocked.
But this is so you're supposed to hate them. That everyone loves them, not your on. You hate them.
Yeah, but like I don't like them enough to be like, how do you hate?
But that's the point. No, that's not what we say.
Okay,
it's hate. It's hate. You have to hate it. Like something that everyone universally loved that you hated, kind of like Molly's Game. That would be
Molly's Game would be on
exactly.
my list.
From Allison, I can't say her new name, but Allison Knowles. I don't know how to say your new name, Allison. Sorry. Inception. I love Inception, so I can't agree with that. Trav McConey, he gave me Pacific Rim, agree wholeheartedly.
I love Pacific Rim.
And well, he actually specifically said Pacific Rim 2, which everyone kind of said was terrible, and he gave me Tyler Perry Anything. I don't think we could say everyone.
I don't think Tyler Perry's a really beloved.
Dude, he makes like an average of like $400 million a year off his movies and shows.
That doesn't mean it's love. There's a lot of high grossing
no. But if it makes that much money, it has to be love because people are paying to see it.
Right.
It's just I was gonna say the people that love it are in a completely different demographic than the people that hate it.
That's true.
And what else we have? Rocky Horror from Tom Colicchio.
100%.
I agree. I
get it.
I like maybe 2 or 3 musicals in my entire life. Bill Stark, Boondock Saints.
100% agree.
I like Boondock Saints.
I do not understand the appeal of that movie.
I think it's overrated. It's kind of like Donnie Darko, where I think culturally it's overrated, but I do like Boondock Saints.
Donnie Darko's on my list too.
I like Donnie Darko, but I think it's overrated. People kind of do, and I love V for Vendetta, but people do the same thing with V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Anchorman from my cousin Denise. I love Anchorman.
That might be the first one where I'm like, how do you hate that?
I know. Well, a lot of people are like ears hates Will Ferrell anything. She doesn't like a single Will Ferrell movie. She likes one sketch from SNL. Will Ferrell is one of those people.
He's so distinct. I could see if someone does hate him.
Yeah. Then from Frank Barry, Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. It's also my friend Jake also
my fiance
said
hates Lord of the Rings, so
the thing. A couple of people said like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, but I know for a fact they never actually sat through them, so I don't take their opinion as seriously. This is one I know you'll agree with from Tom Fuchs, A Christmas Story. How do you feel about A Christmas Story?
That's
Ralph?
number 1 on my list.
Now Richie gave me one that I actually loved. I saw it in the theater twice. Was Boyhood.
I haven't seen Boyhood.
Maybe it's because I had such an appreciation for the filmmaking concept of it, and I love the director.
The idea is cool.
I love Richard Linklater. I thought Ethan Hawke was great. Patricia Arquette was amazing in it. Won an Oscar for it. But the concept of the movie and the thing I liked about Boyhood so much is I kept waiting for the heavy-handed, like dramatic, like someone dies, he gets raped or whatever. I kept waiting for that to happen. It never took the cheap shock value kind of thing, which it could have very easily done.
I think it's just a creative monument to filmmaking.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it though.
I have it if you want to borrow it, or I'll just recommend it at some point. Dan Connor, Napoleon Dynamite, very divisive movie.
Yeah, that's
I like Napoleon.
It's okay.
Now this is one I agree with completely because I'm not a huge fan of this director from Billy McGee. Life Aquatic with Bill Murray. I fucking hate Life. It's so Wes Anderson. We get it. You're quirky. You're weird, and there's always some kind of fucking. It's. I like some Wes Anderson. Life Aquatic. I love Bill Murray. Can we stop acting like he's some kind of demigod actor?
Do you know what Wes Anderson is? I just realized.
A jerk off.
He's the other side of Tim Burton.
Yes.
If there's a coin, you have Wes Anderson on one side, Tim Burton's on the.
But then like Wes Anderson's most recent, the Grand Budapest Hotel, I loved. It's just a matter of the balance for him with quirkiness and dry humor. And Life Aquatic, I thought was boring as shit. It bored the fuck out of me, and I wanted to love it.
Did you like what's the movie?
Don't say Fantastic, Mr.
No,
Fox.
Max Fisher's in it. The guy's name is Max. Oh shit.
I mean, well, his movies Royal Tenenbaums and
Ridgemore.
I let Mount Rushmore. Rushmore. You're talking
is
about
it Rushmore?
Rushmore. Yeah, Rushmore. I liked. I like Rushmore. I like Royal Tenenbaums.
See, Rushmore's it's okay.
But I think most of his movies are overrated.
Rushmore's the only one that I really don't like.
Yeah, I liked Rushmore though. So this is from Micah, and this is a very controversial one. He hates Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's so hard when you talk about a movie that has transcended generations. It's a movie that is still culturally relevant and still talked about. So it's really hard to say. I mean, you obviously your own personal opinion. You can hate it, but there's like I can think of like maybe one other person that doesn't like Ferris Bueller.
Well, you know what might happen? A lot of these movies, especially the ones that are in pop culture, and like even though you've never seen the movie,
Correct.
you've seen the movie just from parodies. It gets hyped, or it becomes so. Your expectations of it are so much that when you do eventually see it, it goes, oh, that's it.
I also think, because Mike is a few years younger than us, his generation specifically, they were more raised, like the movies that were talked about when he was in high school were probably like the American Pie movies and Road Trip, Euro Trip, where it's more like over-the-top hijinks. And Ferris Bueller, it's kind of just like, it's a
for a 5-year period, every comedy movie was the same thing in the late 90s.
That's exactly what it was. And, I mean, I don't think Taylor in general likes a lot of those, the Brat Pack type movies. Like I like most of them. I love Breakfast Club. I love Fast Times. I love
Fast Times I never actually seen, but the others I like.
I like Pretty in Pink. I like 16 Candles. I do like those movies. There's something about them. Weird Science is good. I do like those movies.
I forgot about Weird Science.
Like,
I love that when I was a little kid.
So Ferris Bueller. Now this is the one that pissed me off the most. From Mike Z. He's the one that came to the Halloween party as Francesa and puked everywhere.
That guy ruled.
He put the fucking Godfather, and I can never, ever respect a man's film opinion if they bash The Godfather. You don't have to love it, but it is one of the single greatest achievements in filmmaking of all time.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
No,
I'm
you
really
can't.
trying.
You
I can't, dude.
Between the performances, the score, the filming.
It is the best cast movie. The two best cast things ever.
Godfather Part 1 and 2 have
the Godfather
Young De Niro in Part 2.
Every role in that movie was perfectly cast. And completely other end of the spectrum, Arrested Development, every role is perfectly cast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the most perfectly cast movie
I'd say
ever.
The Sopranos too is perfectly cast, but you haven't followed that as deep.
Yeah.
But The Godfather, dude, I that's one of those like I have like 5 or 6 movies that I just put on when I can't think of what I want to watch, and Godfather is one of them.
Godfather, I don't have a single criticism of. Like,
well, I can have a few of Godfather 3.
Godfather 3 is good, dude.
Shut up. Next, another one I don't agree with from Jess and Amarato, Friday. I love Friday. I could watch Friday and laugh my ass off anytime.
Friday's pretty damn good.
The sequels I don't like, but the original is
actually even the sequels.
The second one has some funny parts. 3 was not good. A Friday After Next.
I probably saw a sequel. It might not have been the sequel.
But the original Friday is great.
The original Friday is hard to not like.
Then from Dan Connor was Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I agree entirely with that. I hate that movie.
I liked Scott Pilgrim. I just never had a desire to watch it again.
I actually loathed that movie.
I know a lot of people that did. And from Maureen, Gone Baby Gone, which I fucking love. I think it's probably Ben Affleck's best work as a writer or as an actor or director. The reason Maureen doesn't like it is because have you ever seen Gone Baby Gone?
No.
There's one scene specifically, so it's about child abductions and child murders, and there's a scene.
That's a very spot-on title.
Yeah, well, exactly. And there's a scene where Casey Affleck is investigating this missing child, and he goes into the house of where they're housing this registered sex offender, specifically a pedophile, and he goes into the bathroom, and in the bathtub there's like a decomposing child that's been dead for a couple days, and they show it for like a half second, but it's distinct enough. And it's definitely disturbing. Like even Casey Affleck's character pukes right away, but Maureen, being a mother, she's like, so it would turn her off so much. So what I would do at Best Buy, I would take a copy. No. I would just take a copy of the movie and put it at her desk and just leave it there.
I thought you were. This is what I thought you were going to say. When you have all the test TVs, you pause on that scene.
Oh, that would get me fired probably. But I don't
think so. With half the stories you've told me,
I do think there was one time where I was watching the movie. I think I made my sister watch Gone Baby Gone, and I Snapchatted that scene and I sent it to her, and she's like, "You're an asshole." Like generally, it's at least once every few months Maureen mentions Gone Baby Gone to me. So, you have any movies specifically that you wanted to name off?
I actually did both movies I hate that everyone loves, and I actually did the other side.
I was going to make that a subject for next week.
Okay,
so save that one. Save that one.
I'll save that one. So movies that I really hate, in no particular order. Christmas Story to begin with. I have a personal reason I hate it.
Who touched you when you were watching it? Who played with your butthole?
You'll shoot your eye out. God fucking damn it.
Dude, I've probably seen that movie. That's like in my top 10 movies I've seen the most, because when I was a kid and I couldn't sleep on Christmas, I was watching it on the 24-hour marathon, and I still do.
I hate there's nothing about that movie I like.
You're high, but go on.
Requiem for a Dream.
Okay, I
very.
knew. And let me can I guess one of yours? I know.
Well, I have the list right here.
Well, I want to guess if this is on here. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I know you don't love that movie.
Yeah.
That would be on
Actually,
there.
I forgot that one.
So
I didn't hate it. I'll tell you. I just didn't understand the hype behind it.
I would agree with you more on Requiem than Eternal Sunshine because Requiem is very much like an artsy fartsy way of showing despair and addiction.
That's the thing. I was expecting this really deep.
And it really wasn't.
It seemed very heavy-handed, and it just wasn't.
It was.
It's a movie that a 16-year-old goes like, maybe drugs aren't.
It
good.
was like the Cliff Notes version of what addiction and despair are.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it.
That's the best way to say it. What else do you have?
This is my number one though. Okay. American Beauty. I hate.
I like American Beauty.
And I'm a Kevin Spacey fan.
Now especially.
I've seen the movie so many times. And to this day, I think it's just garbage.
I like American Beauty.
And everyone goes, "You just didn't get." I get it.
I don't think. I don't think there's much to get. It's a pretty basic story.
Movie.
I do think it's a good movie. I do think it's been overrated over time. But I do think it's a good movie. I think Annette Bening is great in it. I think
the one scene everyone always fucking points to is it's one of the early scenes where he's in the office and the glare on his screen looks like bars, and they go, "It's a metaphor for jail." No fucking shit.
Yeah, come on, like give me a break.
I hate that movie.
I have fond memories of that because I remember going to my friend Jared's house with Spooner. You've met both of them. And it was like when the movie.
I met Spooner. I hang out with Spooner.
Of course, I'm just referencing for everyone else. We're not just sitting here hanging out. So you
everyone
don't know
that listens to our show, we hang out with.
No, it's not true. We did 1,300 listens this past week. 1,300 people.
It's all from me.
Going as far as Alaska listened to us.
You know,
we had people in Alaska.
Wait. You did a dramatic pause, and I was expecting you to say like Indonesia or something.
No,
we went as far as another part of the country.
Another part of I could see Russia from my house. So my memories of American Beauty was when it came out, watching it at Jared's house, and we had like 3 movies in rotation. We watched American Beauty and then Scary Movie and Road Trip.
Wait.
Like 6th grade.
What kind of 13-year-old boys go, let's watch Road Trip? Wow, that's hilarious. Scary Movie. And then American Beauty.
Well, because there was nudity in American Beauty, so we thought that was cool. And I remember specifically the scene that I instantly liked the movie. I laughed so hard was when Kevin Spacey's talking about his life, and they show him in the shower, and he goes, "This is me jerking off. This is the high point of my day." And I instantly, I have no reason to watch the movie.
His fantasy is roses coming. Like,
yeah,
no.
It's artsy fartsy. Now, some that I agreed with Pat Larson completely on Avatar. As far as horror goes, I fucking hate The Ring. I walked out of The Ring in 8th grade, and everyone talked about how scary it was. Maybe it's because I saw the Japanese version, Ringu, and it was significantly better. I hate that. I hated The Hurt Locker with Jeremy Renner. One of the most overrated war films of all time. The only reason it won the Oscars because, I mean, not that the Oscars matter per se, but it was a terrible year for movies. Fucking horrendous. And
that was the Avatar year because it wasn't.
Yes, that was the Avatar year. Correct. Yeah. Now this one, I got to stick with hate. I'm trying to think of other stuff off the top of my head that I hated that everyone else. I don't like the Insidious movies. Those are really, really popular as far as horror goes.
I have a question for you because I'm not a huge horror fan. Cabin in the Woods.
I love Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods is one of my all-time favorite. I wouldn't even say it's a horror movie.
No, it's a parody movie. It really is a parody.
But it's one of the. It's a well-done.
You want to know what it can be compared to, and really, not many people get this, but it's comparable to Scream.
Yeah, I get it.
Because Scream, people don't realize how fucking funny Scream is. And did you see Scream 4? Scream 4 was really good.
I've only seen the first Scream.
Dude,
and I like the first Scream.
The sequels, they get a lot of shit. They're not that bad, but the 4th one was awesome. It went back to shouting out the original. I really enjoyed that. But Cabin in the Woods, I laughed my ass off. There's some parts with the merman at the end is one of the funniest goddamn things ever with the dad from Step Brothers.
You know what I really like? The scene where they lose at the end and they're seeing that the world's going and they're just casually smoking a joint while the world's collapsing upon itself.
That's a great movie. So next week we're gonna play movies you love that other people hate.
Yeah, I already got 4
Good.
or 5.
I'm glad you have a couple.
I cut you off. What were you saying before?
I don't even remember. But I think we should go into our.
I got 2 real quick.
Go ahead.
Sweeney Todd.
I hate Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I hate. It's
garbage,
Tim Burton.
Garbage,
I hate musicals.
Garbage.
And Last of the Mohicans. Last of the Mohicans stinks.
No, it doesn't. I love Last of the Mohicans. That one surprises me actually. That's another one I feel like it's like everyone loves Braveheart, everyone loves The Patriot, everyone loves Last of the Mohicans.
Patriot, I'm not a big fan of.
I just watched it again
It's okay.
recently.
It's okay. I don't hate it.
Dude, the scene where Mel is just mowing down when he saves Heath Ledger and with the tomahawk, and he's just mowing motherfuckers
They don't
down.
actually show the guy, right? Where like he's just chopping him for like.
They just show the blood splattering.
That is my favorite scene.
Dude.
Where they could have quickly done a shock like the dead kid in the tub.
Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't show you. And forever I'm like, I want to see what that guy looked like.
My original Mentos commercial video I made was with that scene when I made all those Mentos videos with the movie scenes. That was the original one I did, and it got taken down. And so did my American History X prison rape one. That one got taken out. So
that's a rough movie. I like that movie.
I love
that's a rough movie.
All right, so let's go into our stuff for this coming week. I do not remember who went first last week, so I think since you went first as far as movie goes, I'll just go first with my recommendation. So I've been trying to get like one of each genre, and the one genre I have not given you is the horror realm. And I'm going to give you one from Studio A24. This is one of their first big movies, and they have a big one that just came out yesterday, Hereditary. The movie I'm giving you is The Witch.
The Witch?
The Witch. This is one of the most original.
Didn't this come out just recently?
It came out about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that's really cool about this movie is they used the journals from the witch trials back in old colonial America to get the actual. Sometimes it's hard to understand them because they're speaking old, early English in America.
Thy witch, thy
that's literally what it
old.
is. And I watched it one weekend with the landlord and Ears, and they were like, early on, they were like, I'm bored. And for me, I like a slow burn, especially in a horror movie where it builds it up and then all of a sudden, real life terror.
Like the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Yes, exactly. And they were a little bored, and in the last half hour, both of them were horrified. The setting of the movie, it's filmed beautifully. The acting is great. It's the girl that was the main girl in Split, who is everywhere right now. But just the way the movie's done and the way they build it up specifically to the climax, it's such an uneasy movie. I felt very, very. I wasn't scared, I would say. I was creeped out. I was uncomfortable.
That's what I look for in a horror movie.
And as you watch this movie unfold, and you just have to kind of put yourself in, just imagine that mindset. And that's one of the things that did for me so well. When I go to the movies, I like having an experience. I like experiencing what the actor, if it's well done, what the characters and the actors are going through. And it was very easy for me in this one specifically. It would have been weird if they were like saying, come on, honey, we got to get away. There's a witch coming. That would have taken me out of it. But the fact that you actually have to think about what they're saying because of the dialect they're using, it really put me into that setting. And then as the movie reaches its climax and its crescendo, I was like, holy shit. And it was an indie film filmed on a very small budget, and it was fucking fantastic. One of my favorite horror movies of the last decade. I think the fiance would like it a lot. I actually recommended it to her a couple of weeks ago to watch.
I thought she saw it.
No, she didn't. When she was texting me about her back being injured and she was looking for horror movies, I recommended The Witch.
That's good. You jump out of your seat with a bad back.
Again, I think it's only the last half hour where these two got scared, and probably the same thing. But this studio A24, man, they've done some really, really wild shit, and they apparently have a masterpiece on their hand with the one that just came out yesterday, Hereditary, because Hereditary
I've seen all over the place.
I've not read a bad thing about it. I know a couple people that saw it already, and they said it's real life horrors. So this studio is one to keep an eye on, A24, with everything they're doing on the indie scene.
Okay.
So you got The Witch. What do you have for me?
Okay, so I actually was going, because I usually have the album I have picked out for you pretty early on, and occasionally I'll switch last minute because some will come on my.
Yeah.
This week I really struggled because originally I was going to just let you choose the album. I was going to do a Cootie Catcher.
I don't want that.
But there were going to be 4 albums. Like
I'm just going to pick Illmatic every time.
No, you weren't going to see it. You were going to get randomly assigned.
Okay, I can do that. So what do you got for me?
So I went just some. I thought there was one that I really wanted to give you that I love that I knew you would hate, but I wanted to see how much you hate it, and then I realized, you know what?
You already gave me one that I hated.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you another metal album.
By the way, did you shit your pants?
Dude, it's been rough.
This is disturbing.
I'm going to
have to put a parental advisory warning on it. This shit is so bad. Oh my god!
You're gonna put a parental advisory for smells.
They'll be able to smell it through the screen.
Oh, I can't wait till you can
stream
the first podcast. You smell 4D. You smell I puke.
You smell I shit. All right.
Wait, that's backwards.
You shit I smell.
Baroness is my favorite band.
Okay.
The Red Album is a great album. It's not my favorite Baroness album. It's not even one of my all-time favorite albums. but I'm going to actually give you the first album that Cut Copy was really high up there, but this is one of my, like, if you're stuck on a desert island, bring with you albums.
What is it?
It's Agalloch, The Mantle.
What's the name? Which band? What's the name of the? Which one?
Agalloch is the band. Agalloch, The Mantle.
Okay, what kind of music is this?
It's a metal album.
Metal album?
But it's a different kind of metal.
It's called The Mental?
The Mantle.
The Mantle. The Mental.
One, it's a critically acclaimed album, so if you do hate it, you can put it on the...
albums I hate that everyone loves.
But it's a unique album. Let me give you this. It's folk metal.
Okay.
Folk metal is a very difficult genre.
I know it is. I'm in. You don't have to say it anymore.
It's very easy for an album to be corny in that genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
This album nails it perfectly. It's got black metal elements. It's got folk elements. It's got progressive elements in it.
When did it come out?
2002.
Okay, so it's pretty old.
The band actually has since broken up. All their albums are good, but this is the only one that I can say is just perfect. I cannot tell enough how much I love this album. I've given it to people who hate metal. The fiance, for example.
She hates it, and she likes it.
She liked it a lot. It's not an album where you can really rate by song. I mean, you can. I think there's 7 or 8 songs, but it's the strongest concept album I've given you. Every song plays into one another. You have to listen with headphones.
Yeah.
It is just an amazing album. You may not like it, but I doubt you're going to say I don't like it.
I'll be able to appreciate it.
You'll be able to appreciate it.
Okay, that's fair.
If you're trying to get into metal and you're someone who's tried and this is a good album to start with, not because it's light, on the contrary, it's just there's so much going on.
Yeah.
There's going to be something in this album that you like. The Mantle, Twin Peaks metal is the only way to describe it.
Oh, then I'm in. I mean, and the fact that you said it's like folk metal, I love that sound, so I'm very excited about listening to this.
The guys
one.
are from Portland. It's not even from like Norway or anything like that.
Oh, no shit.
But they're not like Portland. Like they're
I would
metal.
hope not. All right, so there you have it. The picks this week are the movie The Witch and Agalloch, The Mantle, if you want to play along. So we were just talking about horror movies, and I just did a blog post about this on the website. Yesterday, the trailer came out for the new Halloween movie. Did you get to check out the trailer?
I don't care.
So let me tell you.
I know you like it.
Well,
I don't care.
I mean, here's the thing. I think the original Halloween is the best of all the slasher movies when it comes to a straight up movie. I
agree.
I'm a bigger Nightmare on Elm Street fan, but when it comes to a straight up movie, Halloween is as close to a masterpiece as you'll get.
It's the only one that's a good movie,
yes,
I would say.
And something Halloween has unfortunately had, like most of the slasher genre does, is some really bad sequels. The second one isn't that bad. 3 is bad, and then you go to Season of the Witch.
Isn't 3 the one where they have the masks and
Season
they
of the
can't
Witch?
take them
Season
off?
of the Witch, yeah. And then they released 2 sequels. They released 2 sequels in the 2000s. H2O, where Jamie Lee Curtis was back, which really wasn't that bad.
I saw that one. It wasn't that
wasn't
bad.
bad. And then Resurrection with Busta Rhymes, which is terrible. And they killed Jamie Lee Curtis in the beginning. Trick or treat, motherfucker! Like,
wait, did Busta Rhymes kill Jamie Lee Curtis?
No. Michael Myers killed him, but Busta Rhymes is in it. And then Rob Zombie rebooted the Halloween series.
I did not like the reboots.
It was a horrendous piece of shit. I don't need to feel bad for Michael Myers. That's not the point. The sympathy factor on a slasher is not.
But if you if you did it well, it just wasn't done well.
Well, here's the thing. I'm taking your line here. Here's the thing. So on the Nightmare on Elm Street remake with Jackie Earle Haley, which was not good, they teased that Freddy Krueger was falsely accused by the parents in the movie. And you're like, oh, that was actually an interesting angle. He didn't actually do it, and that's why he wants to revenge. They tease it, but then it turns out that, yes, he did do it. But and that movie was just terrible. In this Halloween movie, they made Michael Myers an abused child, a neglected child with a terrible mother and stepfather, and that's why he went crazy. I think with a character like Michael Myers, the mystery is better left unsaid.
Yeah, and also you lose something because Michael Myers is this unstoppable force.
Doesn't say anything.
That's, I think, the thing. A horror movie is the lack of how are they going to get out of it? Are they going to get out of it? It's a nihilism. The all hope is gone. Michael Myers, if you show a human side of him, even
it takes it away. You don't need it. That's why I didn't like a show like Bates Motel. I don't want to feel bad for Norman
Bates Motel stinks.
Exactly. So now going back to this Halloween trailer. Now what this is? First off, they brought in a brand new writing team and directors. And
it's not Rob Zombie?
No, one of the writers is Danny McBride. He helped pen this script, which to me right away, he's a huge horror buff. It's being made by a fan, and not a fan like Rob Zombie, who's a rock star who made his career on being a horror act. Let's be fair. So Danny McBride is penning it, and it's the first sequel that is bringing John Carpenter in to help. So the creator of it is coming in, and this is where it gets interesting.
Who's directing it?
I'm not completely familiar with the director, so it's a new, fresh name, which I kind of like. He's not tied to anything.
Richie Randazzo?
But specifically, it's going to ignore every sequel that was made. It's going to be a direct sequel to the original Halloween, 40 years after the events of the original.
So it's not a reboot?
It's not a reboot. It's
I guess it kind of is a reboot, but it's a reboot.
It's
sequel?
a reboot of the original. It's a sequel with 40 years after the original. Jamie Lee Curtis is back playing Laurie Strode, and Michael is at a mental institution. And then, obviously, as it goes, breaks out. But the elements of it, where it's bringing back the terror that Michael Myers was, showing the scarred victim in Jamie Lee Curtis and how she's been preparing all this time, and that he gets out. This is the right way to do it. You go back to its roots. You go back to a singular person that has emotional ties to this, rather than a new set of babysitters, a new set of characters. This is the right way to do it. And the fact that it's being made by...
You might have sold me. You might have sold me.
The trailer... the John Carpenter specifically said why he didn't like the sequels is they became too much fun and not enough terror. And that's what he said when these guys showed me the script, what Danny McBride presented to me, I said, this feels like I may have worked on this. It felt like what the element of it was supposed to be. The original mask, I hated the one Rob Zombie used where it had to look spooky. It looked like you know what the original Michael Myers mask was?
It was a William Shatner mask.
A William Shatner Star Trek mask. And they painted it white, and just the dead, beady eyes. I'm really excited, and I hope they get it right.
Do you like any of the Rob Zombie movies?
Devil's Rejects is
Devil's
great.
Rejects is that's the only one I really like.
House of a Thousand Corpses isn't terrible.
That's the one that Devil's Rejects is a sequel
yes,
to, right?
Correct.
Yeah, those two are okay. Devil's Rejects, actually, I really like.
I think House of a Thousand Corpses is okay. Devil's Rejects, I think, is fantastic. His Halloween movies, 1 was bad, 2 was somehow worse, and he just recently did another horror movie that I didn't get to see. Salem's Lot, I didn't get to see, but I heard it was okay. But I'm tired of him putting it wasn't Salem's Lot. I don't remember exactly what it was. Salem's Pit, maybe. It was something weird. Lords of Salem. Lords of Salem is what it was.
His movies remind me of someone who knows what a horror movie should look like, but has never seen one.
He directs them. Like, his first movie was House of a Thousand Corpses.
He directs them like music videos almost.
Well, and because it's weird. I actually like Rob Zombie, but I just think he's a little too. He thinks he's like Tarantino. It's kind of like he's very heavy-handed with his filmmaking. But actually, we got to wrap up soon because we don't even have a guest and we're going long. I'm actually seeing Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson in August. Bittman got like really, really good tickets from his job with like a VIP 10, and I saw Zombie and Manson at Ozfest back in like maybe 2002. So I'm actually a little excited to see that act in person again. So, do you have any concerts coming up that you're going to?
Actually, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing you two again in a few weeks, and then Zombie Manson, and I don't know what else.
Actually, Baroness is touring right now, and there's rumors that they're releasing a new album soon. So, if they come around, of course, I'll see them.
Yeah, I'm actually...
I've never seen a concert... I've never seen a band more than twice live. So, like...
You've also never seen... The one that you told me the other day...
I've never seen a movie more than twice.
I know,
in a movie theater.
That was that asshole guy that he saw the Avengers 42 times in the theater.
I hate that guy.
More times than the days the movie has been out. And I'm tired of people celebrating someone being an asshole. He spent $1,000 on movies.
Hate nerd culture, which is our first topic.
Want to know what actually bothered me more than just seeing the movie 42 times? He had a different Marvel-related T-shirt, all 42 pictures he took.
How bad does that guy smell?
He must have some kind of money, or he's just wasting it. I don't know. So let's quick wrap up.
Okay, I got one topic for you, real quick.
Let me go.
This is weird. This is weird, but I have something you need to do.
Okay.
You have to get your pen out. You need to write this down.
All right.
I want you to look at a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Shively Humperdinck.
Shively Humperdinck.
I want you to watch.
Don't tell me anything.
I want you to watch the Dreamcasm videos. Each one's only about a minute long. There's about 50 of them, so it's about an hour's worth. Just watch them. That's all.
Okay, that's all I need to know. All right, so let's close out with a hot take. Ralph, what's your hot take?
Hot take. Did you hear the story that Zach Diazzi lost his Super Bowl rings?
Did he really?
Okay, so originally he reported them as stolen.
Oh, how many did he have?
He had 2. Did he have 2? Let me real quick. Yeah, he had both of them.
He lost them? How do you lose it? It's fucking gigantic.
So originally he said he got them stolen. He left him on the roof of his car and drove off after getting coffee.
What is it? Did he rent a VHS and leave it on the roof of the car? Like, that's literally what the equivalent is.
I'm just...
Wait, how is that a hot take? Is that a news story or a hot take?
It's a hot news story. Okay, hot take. Zach Tossi, don't lose your Super Bowl rings.
Don't put your Super Bowl rings on the roof of your car.
Okay, quick hot take. You go first because I actually didn't have one.
So here's my hot take. I was watching it right when you got here today. I love gangster movies. I love gangster TV shows. Casino is better than Goodfellas. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but I love Goodfellas too. I think Casino, it tells a better story. I think the acting is better, and I think the music, it runs a little long, and Sharon Stone can get a little annoying in it, but I think as far as the anger in the characters and just overall, I am more entertained start to finish by Casino than Goodfellas, and I love both of them.
I like Goodfellas. I like it a lot. I just don't have the same accolades to it everyone else does.
I think a lot of the praise for Goodfellas too being like superior is because it got screwed out of the Oscar from Dances with Wolves, which never should have happened. I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I don't need a hot take about the fucking Mets, you cocksucker. That's been like 4-year outtakes.
I'm looking for a hot take. I don't have a hot take.
Here, I'm going to give you one.
No, you can't.
I'm going to give you one because I'm tired of you fucking ripping on my team, you cocksucker, as if you don't have the best record in baseball. This is the problem with you cocksucker Yankee fans sometimes. You don't even realize that you're on your fucking high horse as if being better than the Mets is some kind of achievement in 2018. Get the fuck out of here. There's a hot take.
Rubbing it in your face.
Every fucking week you bring it up, you dickhead.
Well, the Mets need to do better, but I'm not going, Yankees. I'm not putting your...
You go hot take it. The first thing you type in is fucking Mets. Here's one for you. You're going to take this one. Your thoughts on Terrell Owens not going to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
I don't give a shit.
See, you can't even come up with it. You're so unoriginal. What are you doing? Give me a fucking hot take. Give me an opinion on something or I'm cutting you off.
Okay, the Mets have...
The Mets have scored 3 runs in their last 51 innings.
Okay, wait. I'll give you a hot take. Yankee fans need to shut the fuck up about complaining. You got the best record.
Shut the fuck up about complaining. They don't stop talking about how much they complain. No, they need to shut the fuck up about Gary Sanchez's deal. Although he needs to start hitting above 200.
Okay, Yankee fans. This is something I've said probably in private. I'm sure I said it on the show before. I get along with Met fans better than Yankee fans because I legitimately am a baseball fan.
Yeah,
I'm a baseball purist. I've told you that I'm not a big fan of the DH. I've told you I don't like interleague. So I'm a big fan of the history, and a lot of Yankee fans are.
They're just Yankee
fans. Bandwagoners. They like...
You didn't hear anything from certain Yankee fans until last year.
Yeah. Like, they like the logo. They like being a part of it. I'm not going to even say they're bandwagoners, but they're just...
It's more of a fashion, like...
Yeah, they're just... They want to be a part of it. Where Met fans don't have a lot to celebrate, so they're loyal to their team. If you're a Met fan...
they're all very educated baseball fans, generally.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
So...
As with any fan base.
But I need Yankee fans to relax. You have the best record in baseball.
Well, actually, technically, the Red Sox still do, but the Yankees have played 5 less games.
Percentage points makes you the best record.
Yes, but they've played 5 less games. The Red Sox have the best record in the league.
No,
that's only for rankings. That's only for the standings.
Oh,
the standings.
If you're in first place, you have a better record.
But they've played 5 less games. They have the most wins. The Red Sox factually,
and they're winning. And they're winning the loss column.
The Red Sox. I forgot what the amount of games it was, but they've won more games than any team with that many games played since 1912, I believe it is. Which was what team?
1912 would have been... That was the Red Sox.
Yeah. And that was the last time a team won this many games in their first, 60 or whatever.
Real quick. Give me a hot take. I want to play the... Give me a year, I'll tell you who won the World Series game.
I actually have that scheduled for a show. We're literally... What are we going
to do? We're going to bleed into the next show?
No. I just... when we don't have a guest, an hour and a half is a long time when we don't have a guest. I mean, I could keep going if you want to.
I'll be Grohow. I'll be the guest. Go. Hey everybody, it's me, Grohow. I just showed up.
All right, we are going to play. Ralph can name every World Series winner from what year? Live ball era,
45 on. The early ones I'm a little weak with.
So because I actually want to have a printout to correct you.
I can do Super Bowl. I can do most of the NBA, and I can do all of.
What about WNBA?
Comets.
Comets
won the first 4. I know
that's
that
all
much.
you know. All right, guys. So thanks for listening again. Again, you could follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Go to our website, You Watch, I Listen, which will have all the streams up. You can subscribe right on iTunes, SoundCloud, right there, and listen to it directly.
Thank you, Dan, for the mics. All joking aside, I really do appreciate it. It was a nice.
This is your nice birthday extravaganza. We'll be celebrating your birthday next week, along with. I believe we're going to be doing some recording at your house.
Yeah. For, little special treat. I requested we're having not a party, but just a few friends over, get together. It's my birthday. The fiance wanted to do something nice because she doesn't suck, and I wanted Dan to bring the board over.
We're just going to record some of us,
and we're just going to leave them on, and anyone can contribute. It's going to be a clusterfuck, and
We should actually probably just hook up and video live stream that one because it'd actually be kind of funny, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So again, this is episode 7. Your recommendations this week were The Witch,
Agalok,
The Mantle. So thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Fuck the Mets.
Fuck off.